The reproduction of this content is not allowed without the express written consent of EBH Fitness, LLC.
From the desert to the state line, this is Borderland Sports Report. Yeah. Woo. Lights on the field, Friday night air, sweat in the grind, dreams everywhere, from the court to the turf, every rep, every play, Borderland built, we earn our way, no shortcuts, no hype, just truth and respect, local roots, real stories, what you don't expect, if it matters in the Borderland, we on that beat, voices of the game, hear the street speak.
This is the pulse, this is the zone,
Borderland Sports Report.
welcome home.
Welcome to Borderlands Sports Report. I'm your host, Carrie Silva, and we are here today with Cindy Davis, straight out of Bel Air High School. Welcome to the show, Cindy.
Hi, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Wow, so you have won the state championship twice.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what that feels like.
I don't necessarily think it's a feeling, more of like a lifestyle, you know? I wake up every day and I try and just become the best version of myself on and off the mat, and I think that's what's, prolonged me as far as it has in my wrestling career, It's not an easy sport, that's why not a lot of people do it, but trying my best every day, becoming the best version of myself, working hard, that's how I get where I am.
Just taking it day by day.
Absolutely.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about how you got into wrestling.
So I was a gymnast for about 12 years of my life, and that era had already passed, so I was like, I want to try something new, and I got into lifting weights, and my wrestling coach was like, hey, you should come down, just try it out, check it out, Coach Lavario, and I did it one day, and I was like, oh, wait, this is kind of cool, and it kind of transpired into me being, I guess, a gymnast, but also a wrestler. And I was like, no, I think I like wrestling more. It translates being fluid in your body, having to control your movements, that kind of thing. And after that, I wrestled my first tournament at Montwood, and it's history from there. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yes.
wonderful. So do you have any role models that you look up to, any wrestlers or athletes that you draw inspiration from?
As far as wrestling, Tamara Mensah-Stock, so she won the Olympics, I believe, 2021 at 68 kilograms. And then Jasmine Robinson, she's also out of Texas. She's a U20 world champion, and she's a 4-time state champion out of Allen, Texas. And from the men's side, probably Jordan Burrow. I don't know. I'm not really into men's wrestling. I like to focus on women's wrestling. I like to focus on, what the sport has to offer as far as what it does for little girls. Those are my role models as far as that.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yeah. I think the first time that I vividly remember my sophomore year, I saw a post about Tamara Mensah-Stock, and she was talking about her natural hair. About her natural hair. And I was like, oh, she has the puff balls. Her hair looks like mine, and, her body looks like mine. She's strong, but she's stable, and she's fluid in her movements, and she's fast. And I was like, I want that to be me. And so I think my biggest thing is trying to be a role model for other girls that look like me. And not just that look like me, but little girls across America, but specifically for girls that look like me, because there's not a lot of us, and when we're out there, we're strong and we're brave, and it's us, you're a Tamara, or you're a Sydney. So I think seeing someone like that, it was really eye-opening for me and really inspirational.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. I love that. So from my understanding, you started in 8th grade, is that right?
Yes.
Wrestling?
Yes.
Wow, so you've been doing this a long time now.
Yeah, it's about to be, I'd say about 4 to 5 years. I usually say 4 years because my 8th grade year, I was like, I don't know if I want to come back. And then my freshman year is kind of when I doubled down between track and wrestling.
So what made you come back?
I think because I knew I was made for more. And wrestling, not just physically but mentally, takes a lot out of you. So to be able to not only persevere through my freshman year, get 3rd place, but kind of having desire to go back and be like, you know what, I have something to prove. And not necessarily to anybody else, not external validation, but internally, like, I knew I was made for more. And I was like, yeah, like, you have one more in you, like you got one more in you. And then sophomore year, now you got one more in you, and you kind of get addicted to it.
Yeah. So can you just maybe tell us a little bit about how you get ready for a match?
Yeah. Where do I start? Well, I'll say first, I think the biggest thing is the preparation starts in the mat room. So one of my biggest, I guess, ideologies that I tell younger wrestlers or even girls at my mat room who are still developing is the way you practice is the way you compete. The way you compete is the way you practice. So, if you're giving out crappy shots, you're not really, trying hard, you're being lazy, you're going to get exposed on the mat. And the biggest thing for me is to try and replicate all the things that I do in practice in my tournaments. So when it's time to drill hard, I'm drilling 110%. I'm going 100 million miles as fast as I can, really grinding it out. So when I go on the mat, I'm kind of replicating that. And, of course, it's going to look different because, sometimes I wrestle girls who might not be on the same level. So I'm going through them, you know what I mean? And when I get that higher level match, I'm prepared for it. And I think mentally, it's kind of just reminding myself that there's no expectations. Like, you shouldn't go out and expect yourself to win a state title or expect yourself to, beat this really good girl. Take your time, In wrestling, the match is 6 minutes, so you have 6 minutes to work whatever you want to work, and you make it your match, You're not wrestling this girl and she has to, topple you and take over and all this kind of stuff. Like, you relax, you take your time, you go one move at a time, you know what I mean? A pace kind of thing. And that's just mentally. And physically, it's kind of just like go out there and do what you know. Like, you train this every day, who knows how many hours a week. Like, you're prepared for this. So you go out there and you have fun. Do what you do.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask you, do you have a favorite takedown, a favorite move?
Yes. So before I started to get a little bit more technical, it was just a blast double. So that's basically where you just ram them off the mat. Like, you just pick up their legs and slam them. But getting more technical, I do the sweep single or an outside single, which is basically just trying to pick up one foot and then you take them down with one leg. Yeah.
Okay. So what's been the most challenging match that you've ever encountered, and why was it challenging, and how did you get through that?
Most challenging. I think my junior year when I wrestled Eloise Woolsey, I believe, out of Cleveland, New Mexico. And wow, is she a good wrestler. She was really good. And I think that was most challenging for me because I had realized that I was doing enough to be good, but where she was at, I had to be great to wrestle her, and I wasn't there. And so that girl was really good. She ended up beating me, I think, 19 or 20 to 4, something like that. And I wasn't upset about the match. I wasn't I should have won. I didn't cry. I'm not a crier when I lose. I was more just okay, let's go back to the drawing board and figure out what you're going to do, right? So the biggest thing was my conditioning was terrible at the time. I knew I couldn't make it to the 3rd period with a good girl. So conditioning was key and being a little bit more technical. And before I was kind of just going off of pure strength because I am really strong for my weight class, but you get to the point where you're wrestling these high caliber girls and they're just as strong as you. So you either pick your speed or you pick your technique or you put them together. And I had to figure out how to incorporate that into my wrestling style, not just being strong and overbearing. Like, you have to be fast, you have to be witty, you have to be technical. You know what I mean? So that match kind of, I guess, changed gears for me, and I kind of started to hone in on being really technical. And I can incorporate my strength in it because I'm strong already, but learning how to be technical and figure out different positions and how to score off of those positions, how to defend off of positions, and that transferred into my freestyle season over the summer, and I wrestled some really good girls there, and you could just tell it was like two different people from December to my state finals match to my national finals match. Like, it's three different people, and there's a constant evolution, you know?
So tell us a little bit more about that evolution. How did you
Yeah.
get from this one girl over here
Right.
who lost this match and
Right.
saw that they needed to go next level to that next level?
Right.
Like, what got you there?
I think it was, like I was saying before, my constant desire to be better. Not better than anybody else in a comparison way, but just better, right? Like, when you talk about the Kobe Bryants and the LeBrons, they're always talking about how they're trying to get better, and that comes with consistency. So, you know, you're not going to get better by just waking up and one day I'm going to do this, the other day I'm going to do, right? It's constantly getting better, going to the mat room, going to training, working out. And it sucks because I'm going to be sore, I'm going to be tired. It's all this kind of stuff. Mentally, I have school, I'm like, ugh, I have to do my math test. But the back of my mind is like, we're getting better. You're going into the mat room, you're training. You got better that day, you know what I mean? And so you kind of just start to see yourself one day at a time, just, you got better that day, you got better that day, you know what I mean? And I guess I'll say my mentality before that match was like, I'm already good. Like, there's not much out there for me. You know, I wasn't really thinking about the national level or that I would really run into a girl like that. And it was a big eye-opener, and I'll say, too, a blessing. Like, my mentality going into my senior year is of course, constantly getting better, but you want to be at the top always, right? Like, you don't want to catch yourself slacking or, oh, I'm just going to relax this day because, you know, oh, I feel bad, whatever. Like, I don't really get those kind of days because I'm trying to chase a better version of myself, you know?
So it's kind of like you versus you.
Right, exactly.
Instead of you versus this competitor.
Exactly. And I think
see.
that's really important because when you're comparing yourself, it's almost like comparing a different species. Like, you are entirely a different person than this girl you're going to wrestle, you know what I mean? You should be chasing a better version of yourself. And when you face that girl who might be better than you, you might have a little bit more preparation than, oh my gosh, she's really good, like, I don't know if I can beat her, versus, hey, I've done everything that I can, and now I'm going to go up against this girl. Let's see what happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes. So, where are you now? What do you plan to do for the future? What are your hopes? You know, tell us what's ahead for Cindy Davis.
So, definitely short term, I am chasing the three-peat, the third state title. And I leave that entirely up to God. Whatever his will is for me is what it is. I accept it. And then, of course, postseason, March, April, May, I plan to do a few national tournaments, women's nationals, U.S. Open, and then hopefully Fargo, which is like, it's like the, I don't even know, it's like the Super Bowl of wrestling for youth. And as far as collegiately, I do plan on going to college. Undecided yet, but, you know, I'm giving it to the Lord. He'll guide my steps. I'm just here to, what's the word? I'm just here to, I guess, set a path, you know, and walk that path and let him guide me. Yeah.
Yeah, you seem to have a lot of faith. Like, how does that play into your mindset and your physicality? Is that like a major part of?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I was saying again, you know, wrestling is a tough sport. Like, I can't count on the number of hands that people have gone one day and were like, yeah, this isn't for me. So I definitely believe relying on a higher power, specifically for me, because I am Christian, God it's so important to have someone that you can constantly lean on, whether you're struggling, whether you just won your state title, like being able to have a higher power to lean on and believe like it's gonna be okay, right? I lose the match, it's gonna be okay. I won the match, it's gonna be okay. I don't know, you know what I mean? And especially in wrestling where you are constantly just at a grind and you're trying to figure it out, and sometimes you're confused, you're tired, you're sweaty, there's somebody on top of you and you're trying to get up, like it's just so much. But having faith in a higher power, having faith in God, being able to rely on him for all things, right? Whether you don't know or you do know, it takes a toll on you. So that's, I think, the most important thing. I didn't get to touch on it as much, but my faith is my biggest, most important thing ever.
That's wonderful. I'm glad you have that.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So
Yeah.
these competitions that you want to do in the off season, can you tell us a little more about them?
Yes. So what we wrestle in high school is folk style, which is a little bit more, I guess, westernized, and freestyle is like Olympic. So what they do at the Olympics, what they do at World Championships, that's freestyle. And so for me, since I'm a female, I'm going to wrestle freestyle in college, and hopefully that'll take me to the Olympic track, which is what I plan to do. But these tournaments, they're really just for mat time, which we call, like, I guess, think like 7-on-7 for football, right? Like, you're not really trying to go out and win anything crazy, but you are going to get some good girls and some good matches, and that'll start to prepare you for, like, the women's championships, for the U.S. Open, for the world trials, that kind of thing. And you want to constantly just kind of get yourself working. And freestyle, it sounds like it's a super far off realm from folk style, but they do intertwine. It's just about, again, being on the mat so you can figure it out for yourself. Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the differences
Yes. So
between folk style and freestyle?
to make it simple, folk style is like controlled, right? Lots of rules. You can't do this, you can't do that. They have 3 positions: top, bottom, neutral. Freestyle is what it sounds like. It's basically like a free-for-all. You can throw people backwards onto their head. You can throw people. They have parterre, which is basically where one person is flat and the other person is on top, and you have an opportunity to, like, roll them, I guess. But that is like the, what's the word? That's like the world, I guess you could say the world version of wrestling, because folk style is like westernized, like Japan, Asia, Africa, they don't really do folk style. It's freestyle. Yeah. So that's kind of the biggest difference, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds really exciting. It also
Yes.
sounds a little dangerous.
It can be, but I honestly will say over the summer I found myself having more injuries in folk style than I have freestyle, which is crazy because you're like, well, you're getting thrown in all this stuff. Like, it sounds more dangerous, but I think it just depends, you know. I've of course have been blessed to not have any, like, crazy injuries, but I also think because I'm really strong and compact that my body's able to handle a little bit more, but it's different for everyone. Yeah.
Well, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to come up after you, somebody who looks at you and says, wow, I want to do what she's doing?
I think the best advice that I would give to anyone who might want to follow in the footsteps of someone great, and not just me, but anyone, is figure out your why. You know, I feel like a lot of times people are doing it for their parents or because they have a legacy they want to fulfill, or, you know, whatever the case may be, but figure out your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself through the hard practices and the hard training every day? Why are you sacrificing time with your family and your friends and, you know, going out and partying? Like, why? What is your why? And when you figure that out, intertwine that into your training, you know? When you have a hard practice, okay, why am I doing this? Okay, I'm doing this because I know God has a plan for me. Why am I doing this? Okay, I'm doing this because I know my mom, you know, she wants me to go out there and do my best. You know, figure out your why and figure out your purpose as far as what you're doing in the mat room, and try and intertwine that into your wrestling career. Because I think not just in wrestling but in life, going anywhere or trying to figure out a path for yourself without having a why or reason, it's hard. You know, you find yourself lost a lot of times, not really knowing what I'm going to do, but honing in on why you're doing what you're doing and what you think is the best outcome for yourself, it helps. So figure out your why.
Figure out your why.
Yeah, figure out
Okay.
your why.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
a good thing to think about. Have a good
Yes.
why to keep you grounded.
Every day I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why am I doing this? And I'm like, okay, like, I work so hard. I've been doing this for 4 years. Like, might as well get it over with, you know? Like, figure out my why.
Figure out. So what is your why?
My why is I do believe that I was given these athletic, academic, and I think physical abilities to show people that you can do it. Whether you've been doing it for 2 years, whether you've been doing it for 10 years, you can do it, you know? You have to have a little faith in God, of course, but honing in on, I guess, betting on yourself. That's a big thing for me, is betting on myself and telling myself, like, hey, like, I can stand with the big guys. Like, I'm good enough to be here, you know what I mean? And I think, too, allowing myself to have, like, grace. I have this big pedestal. I'm a 2-time state champ. I'm a national finalist, all this stuff, but I'm human, too, you know? And I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm going to fall, and, you know, this, that, and the third. But as long as I'm honing in on having faith in myself, having faith in my training, like, I know it'll be okay.
You're gonna go far. You're gonna go places.
I'm like, I hope.
Oh man, I just can't wait to like sit here again with you in like the next 10 years and just see what's
I
happened
hope,
since then.
yes, of course, yes.
What do you think we'll be talking about?
10 years, I don't know. I hope to be maybe on like a world team, definitely in college still, or working to get my other degree. I want to be a doctor in psychology and do forensic psychology, so hopefully something around that realm. But as far as sports, I mean, just the same thing I'm talking about, like getting better every day, being the best version of yourself, you know, allowing grace, right? Like those kind of things.
Yeah, well, I do look forward to that.
Yes, me too. Oh my gosh. That's a crazy thing to think about, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think that's a good place to end here. Thank you so much,
Thank
Cindy
you for
Davis, for
having
being
me.
here, and thank you all for
Yes.
tuning into the Porterland Report. My name is Carrie Silva. Have a nice day.
When the lights go out and the noise fades low, still stories left that the numbers don't show. Every grind, every town, every mile we roam. Borderland voices, this is home. No headlines missed, no moment too small. From the rise to fall, we cover it all. If it moves the game, then you know we're there. Truth in the word, respect in the air. This is more than a score, more than a play. Borderland Sports Report, every day.